Hello everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into the art of mastering drawing through simplification. We'll explore how breaking down complex objects into basic shapes can not only improve your accuracy but also boost your confidence as an artist. I'm excited to share techniques that will help make your drawing process more approachable and enjoyable. Let's get started on this creative journey together. When we talk about simplifying, the first key idea is breaking down objects into basic shapes. This step is crucial because it helps us draw more accurately and with greater confidence. Instead of getting lost in details right away, we focus on the fundamental forms. Next, simplification helps us manage complexity. Large, complicated forms can feel intimidating, but by reducing them into smaller, manageable parts, the drawing process becomes much more approachable. Another important point is that simplifying builds a solid foundation. This means establishing correct proportions, structure, and perspective early on, which makes adding details later far easier and more precise. When we focus on simple shapes, we also gain control over the entire drawing process, guiding our work step by step. Lastly, simplification helps us avoid feeling overwhelmed. Instead of struggling with every tiny detail all at once, we keep things clear and organized, making the whole experience more enjoyable and productive. When we look around us, almost everything is made up of basic geometric shapes. For example, everyday objects can often be broken down into familiar forms like circles, squares, rectangles, and triangles. Think about wheels, bowls, or even faces, they all share circular shapes. Then there are squares and rectangles, which you can see in windows, books, or tables. Triangles show up in rooftops, leaves, and many types of signs. Understanding these simple shapes is really helpful because it allows us to simplify what we see into manageable pieces. This makes drawing much less intimidating, as you're breaking complex objects into basic elements. Plus, it enhances your spatial awareness, making it easier to sketch accurately and with confidence. Recognizing shapes is a fundamental skill that lays the groundwork for developing your drawing ability. When it comes to drawing, learning to really see is absolutely central to success. Instead of just looking at what you think an object is, try to focus on the basic shapes that make it up. This shift in perception helps you capture what's really there, rather than what your brain assumes. Pay close attention to the edges and contours, the lines and curves that define the form. These details are crucial for creating accurate and dynamic drawings. Also, it's important to observe how these shapes relate to each other in space. Their placement, distance, and orientation can totally change the composition. By seeing with fresh eyes and focusing on these elements, your drawings will become much more precise and expressive. When starting to draw an object, it helps to simplify its complex shapes into more basic forms. First, focus on identifying the main volume, which you can think of as an oval or ellipse. It's the largest part and forms the core structure. Next, look at the neck, which typically appears as a smaller cylinder connecting to the main body. Then, observe the base. It often takes the shape of a wider oval or a circle, providing stability. Lastly, break down any handles or additional parts into simple curved lines or loops. By reducing these elements to basic shapes, it becomes much easier to build a detailed and accurate drawing step by step. Now it's your turn to put these ideas into practice. Begin by selecting everyday objects around you and try to identify the simple geometric shapes that make up their structure. Don't worry about the details just yet. Next, start sketching these objects by focusing only on their basic forms, circles, squares, triangles, and so on. Pay close attention to the essential elements like shapes, angles, and how different parts relate to each other. Once you feel confident with the basic structure, slowly add more complexity and detail. This step-by-step approach will help you build a strong foundation for accurate and effective drawing. To recap, we started by looking at how simplifying objects into basic shapes is fundamental for accurate drawing. This approach helps us break down complex forms into manageable parts. Next, we focused on improving perception by carefully observing shapes, lines, and forms, which enhances our control over the drawing process. Then, we explored a step-by-step method that makes even the most complicated subjects easier to handle. Finally, it's important to keep practicing these techniques regularly. With consistent effort, you'll build confidence and be ready to take on more detailed and dynamic drawings in the lessons ahead.